Holy moly, it's too hot. But we shall continue. Hello. Hello, another video for Kings of War, and this time we are talking about the Sylvan kin. Now, the Sylvan kin are a race, I suppose, of elves that in a lot of other war games, RPGs and whatnot, they're essentially wood elves. They still keep some of the traditions, some of the military and whatnot of normal elves, but they have more natural sort of weaponry and armour. Their tactics and such like are more guerrilla warfare. They're good with they're pretty deep with nature sort of thing, and they've got a lot of green, as one would suggest. That's kind of the thing. They are basically wood elves. If you are following along, you will need to be on page 261 in the big rule book, and on page 61 in the Uncharted Empires book. Strangely enough, some of the numbers do match up in both books, which is odd, but they are a neutral force, not good like normal elves are. They are neutral. Their army special upgrade is Deathroot Arrows. Once per game, when the unit rolls to damage with a ranged weapon, you may choose to re-roll up to 3 dice that scored a natural unmodified 1. This unit's Deathroot Arrows are then destroyed and cannot be used again for the remainder of the game. That's not bad. I'd have thought it'd been... I personally would have thought it'd been better if it would have been just 3 re-rolls. It's kind of a cheapo one-use version of Elite at range. Just three re-rolls that you can, well, not free, but you know what I mean, just 3 re-rolls you can use once per game sort of thing, but hey how. So starting with the infantry, and starting with the Boss Wraiths. Speed 6, melee 4+, defense 3+. Troop 20 attacks, nerve 10, 12, 115 points. Regiment 25 attacks, nerve 14, 16, 175 points. Elite in melee, fury, wild charge D3. They're not bad. They haven't got any crushing strength or thunderous charge or out like that, but magic items. I'd keep on them as a troop because the amount of extra attacks doesn't feel like it's worth it. Yes, the nerve is better if you have them as a regiment, but you might as well just have them as a troop. The defense is 3, so they're going to be taking a lot of wounds already, and an extra 60 points just to give them 5 more attacks and an extra 4 pips of nerve, I don't feel it's worth it. Next we have the Forest Guard, speed 6, melee 3+, defense 4+. Troop 10 attacks, nerve 11, 13, 105 points. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve 15, 17, 165 points. Horde 25 attacks, nerve 22, 24, 270 points. Elite in melee, Pathfinder, thunderous charge 1. I wouldn't bother with them as a troop. Their attacks and nerve is a bit paltry for that, for my liking. As a regiment, their attack's a bit low, but that's par for the course for normal sort of things. Horde is pretty decent attack-wise and nerve-wise. 270 points is a little bit expensive compared to other stuff, but they have got Thunderous Charge, they've got Elite in melee, and they've got Pathfinder, so it's kind of what you get. Next we have the River Guard Tree Leapers, and they are irregular. Yeah, I did notice these before, but there we go. Speed 7, melee 4+, defense 4+. Troop, 10 attacks, nerve, 10, 12, 110 points. Regiment, 12 attacks, nerve, 14, 16, 170 points. Crush strength 1, ensnare, fly, nimble, pathfinder. And they are regular. I'd probably have them as a regiment. Their attack's a bit low in either a troop or a regiment, but their nerve is better. They've got crushing strength and they can technically fly. They just jump because they're basically frog people. I only recently noticed they've got River Guard in here, which kind of suggests to me they're kind of a offshoot. Well, this army is an offshoot of the Green Lady sort of thing. Yeah, have them as a regiment with the crushing strength and the nerve and the ensnare. They are a pretty decent unit. Next we have the Kindred Tall Spears. Speed 6, melee 4+, defense 4+. Troop, 12 attacks, nerve, 10, 12, 90 points. Regiment, 15 attacks, nerve, 14, 16, 140 points. Horde, 30 attacks, nerve, 21, 23, 230 points. They've got elite in melee and phalanx. I'd take them as a horde. Not bad as a regiment, but the nerve and they've got 30 attacks and 230 points ain't that bad. You've got magic items to give them the crushing strength or whatever else you may possibly need. Yes, so thing is, the River Guard are irregular, but they are kind of doing what the boss wraiths are doing, but better. I mean, what's the difference? They haven't got Fury, they haven't got Elite in melee. Minimum charge range of the boss wraiths are 13. Minimum charge range of the River Guard is 14. The Tree Leapers are better than the boss wraiths. Less attacks, yes, but they are going to stay around a little bit longer. I think the boss wraiths are the weakest of the four. You've got the Forest Guard, which are very accurate in close combat, and they've also got Thunder's Charge. You've got the Kindred Tall Spears, which have got phalanx and ton of attacks and good nerve and not bad points costs. So, and of course the River Guard, which have got crushing strength and can fly and snare. Next we have the Heavy Infantry, and they are the Hunters of the Wild. Speed 5, melee 3+, defense 5+. Troop, 12 attacks, nerve, 12, 105 points. Regiment, 15 attacks, nerve, 14, 16, 160 points. They've got Pathfinder and Scout. What can help is magic items, obviously, but good defense, good close combat, stat, not bad nerve, alright attacks for a regiment. I'd have them as a regiment, don't bother having them as a troop. That just feels a bit pointless to me. But it's an option that's there. It's an option that's there. Next we have the Ranged Infantry, starting with the Kindred Glade Stalkers, and they are irregular. Speed 6, melee 4+, range 4+, defense 3+. Troop, 8 attacks, nerve, 10, 12, 130 points. Regiment, 10 attacks, nerve, 14, 16, 175 points. They've got Elite, Pathfinder and Scout, and they've got bows which are 24-inch range and steady aim. And they take Dark Root arrows for 5 points, which isn't bad. It isn't bad. I'd probably have them as a troop. If they had a few more attacks and maybe split off the attacks for close combat and range, maybe have them as a regiment, because not bad nerve, and they can hit in 4+ in close combat, hit 4+ at range. I'd have them as a troop, just peppering enemies with shots. They steady aim with the bows and the movement of 6, and they've got Pathfinder and Scout, which is always helpful, and both elite in melee and close combat, and at range, sorry, again, is a great benefit. The Deep Root arrows, I'm not sure why they've got that, because they've got elite at both range and close combat. So for me, that's kind of a waste of points. Maybe that needs FAQing Mantic. Next we have the Kindred Archers. Speed 6, melee 5+, range 5+, defense 4+. Troop, 8 attacks, nerve, 10, 12, 90 points. Regiment, 10 attacks, nerve, 14, 16, 120 points. Horde, 20 attacks, nerve, 21, 23, 210 points. They've got bows which are 24-inch range. They've got elite at ranged. I'd probably hoard them out, to be honest. The cheap... They hit on 5s at both close combat and at range, but they're a cheap unit. They're just there for the nerve and for their attacks. I mean, you might as well, to be honest. Yes, there are better ways, to be honest. But they are a shooter unit that aren't irregular, so maybe it's worth taking them. Maybe. Next we have the Cavalry, starting with the Winterborn, and you can only have one of these in your army. Don't know why they're not unique, but hey ho. Someone's drilling. Spellcaster rank 0. Speed 10 the melee 4+, defense 4+. Troop 7 attacks, nerve 11 13, 165 points. They've got elite and nimble. Windborne arrows. For each hit caused by this unit's wind blast spell, in addition to moving the target to roll to damage as normal, and it's got wind blast 7. Which isn't bad at all. It's a shame you can't have them as a regiment or a horde, but Wind Blast 7 isn't bad, especially when you can do damage. Otherwise I'd say, what's the point? You know, there's the option. They're there for you. 165 points. It's something to think about, I suppose. You can manoeuvre enemies to get them where you want a bit more. I suppose they've got that going for them. Next we have the Wild Gur Panthers, and they are irregular. Speed 10, melee 4+, defense 3+. Troop 6 attacks, nerve 9 11, 85 points. Regiment 12 attacks, nerve 12 14, 130 points. They've got nimble, pathfinder, and vicious in melee. They're an alright harassment unit. I'd have them as a regiment, to be honest. 6 attacks as a troop just seems a bit paltry to me. Have them as a regiment means you're getting at least 12 attacks in, and you've got vicious, which re-rolling 1s to wound, which isn't bad at all. They've got nimble, pathfinder, which is going to be helpful. Speed 10, never a bad thing. Next we have the Sylvan Cavalry, and they are also irregular. Speed 10, melee 4+, range 4+, defense 4+. Troop 7 attacks, nerve 11 13, 130 points. Regiment 14 attacks, nerve 14 16, 200 points. Nimble, and they've got short bows which are 18-inch range, elite at ranged, and they've got steady aim. And they can take deep root arrows for 5 points. This needs FAQ and I think Mantic, because the deep root arrows do say unmodified rolls of 1. Elite also say unmodified rolls of 1. What's the point of them? Post on the comments below if there's been an FAQ. Like I've done for all of these sort of review things, I'm just going on what the books say at the time when they were printed. I'm not applying anything else to them, because you should be able to buy the book and get ready to go, and you can, but I'd just like to know, what are they supposed to do? Because I'm sure as hell sure they ain't supposed to do what it says at the minute. But back onto the Silver Breeze Cavalry, they ain't bad. Steady aim on the bows, speed 10, so yes, they've got short bows with short range, but 18-inch range plus 10-inch range for movement. You've got potentially a 28-inch bow, and you can move and shoot with a shooting on 4s. Have them as a regiment, I would not bother with them as a... Then again, 7 attacks is... Nah, have them as a regiment. You can do a bit of outflanking if you need to, do a bit of good shooting. I'll have them as a regiment. Next we have the Stormwind Cavalry. Speed 9, melee 3+, defense 5+. Troop 8 attacks, nerve 11 13, 140 points. Regiment 16 attacks, nerve 14 16, 215 points. Elite in melee, thunderous charge 2. These are essentially heavy cavalry. So all the cavalry have their uses. The Windborne, you can manoeuvre enemies where you want while still damaging them. What you've got to remember is Wind Blast always hits on the 4 because it's a range spell. I'll just find it. Wind Blast, 18-inch range, so that's essentially 28-inch range. This spell has no effect on units with a speed of 0. For each hit, the target is pushed back 1 inch directly backwards. Yeah. Yeah, so you can manoeuvre stuff. Obviously, you have to hit a lot, but I mean, there's no penalty from what I can gather for enemies being in cover. So if you score high enough, you could potentially push a unit out of cover, which that is going to be nasty. And you could push it so far out of cover that your units won't get penalties for charging them in cover, which that's going to hurt. That is going to hurt. The Ger Panthers are a cheap outflanking unit, even though they haven't got Thunderous Charge or Crush Strength. The Silver Breeze Cavalry, they're outflanking shooting. And the Stormwind Cavalry are your heavy cavalry. Each of strengths that I've just mentioned, each have got weaknesses. The Stormwind Cavalry are a bit slower. The Silver Breeze Cavalry haven't really got that good in close combat. The Ger Panthers are a bit weak defensive wise, so you're going to have to be careful. And the Windborn are a one per army thing, and apart from their Wind Blast, they can't do anything much else really. Next we have the Large Infantry, and they are the Forest Shamblers, and they are irregular. Speed 6, melee 4+, defense 5+, regiment 9 attacks, nerve -14, 120 points. Horde 18 attacks, nerve -17, 200 points. Got Crush Strength 1, Pathfinder Scout, and Shambling. They're not bad. Not bad points wise. Good attacks, good nerve. Got Crush Strength, Pathfinder Scout, which is helpful. Shambling can be a problem unless you've got a wizard with good surging. It's a shame they were irregular in this army. I wouldn't have thought they'd be irregular in this army, but you know, they are what they are. Next we have the War Machine. They've only got one, it is the Bolt Thrower. Speed 6, range 4+, defense 4+. 2 attacks, nerve 10-12, 90 points. It's 40-18 range, blast D3, elite at range, piercing 2, and reload. So you can't move and shoot with this, but it's a bolt thrower, isn't it? When it works really well, it's deadly as all hell. When it's not so good, it might do 1 hit and 1 wound perhaps. Minimum of 0, well, minimum of 1 wound depending on how you play it. Maximum of 6, so have it peppering enemies, have it on a hill, or pepper large units. You've got options with it. Next we have the heroes. Starting with the Archwraith, Hero Infantry. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 3+. 6 attacks, nerve -13, 80 points. Elite in melee, individual, inspiring, boss wrath only, wild charge D3. Boss wrath, yeah, you could do 1 army of them because the boss wraiths aren't irregular. It's possible. 80 points. It's not that expensive either. It's not bad. If you're not taking a lot of boss wraith units, don't bother with it. Yes, it's not bad points wise. It hasn't got any crushing strength or out like that, so maybe leave it unless you're taking a lot of boss wraiths. Next we have the Forest Warden. Large infantry hero, spellcaster rank 0. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 5+. 3 attacks, nerve 11-13, 90 points. Crush strength 2, nimble, pathfinder scout, and it's got surge 4. If you're taking a fair few Forest Shamblers, which you might do, they are irregular, so you're not going to be filling your army out with them, which is a shame. I'd have thought that'd be one of the points of the army, but hey ho. If you do take quite a few Forest Shambler units, it might be worth taking a Forest Warden. Other than that, I honestly can't see much point. 3 attacks, yes, they're hitting on 3s with Crush Strength 2, but it's only 3 attacks. So, unless you're taking Forest Shambler, a lot of them, nah. Next we have the Master Hunter, Hero Infantry. Speed 7, melee 3+, defense 4+. 4 attacks, nerve 11-13, 115 points. Elite, individual, inspiring, tracker only, pathfinder, scout, stealthy. Got bow, which is 24-inch range with piercing 1. Can take death root arrows for 5 points. Again, I don't get it because they've already got elite. Tracker, so on that you got the Kindred Lord, Kindred Glade Stalkers. You've got the Forest Guard. You've also got... That's about it, actually. Is it? Can't be it. Oh, okay. Yes, it is. Yeah, I suppose if you're doing a heavy... if you're getting a lot of trackers in there, like your Kindred Glade Stalkers, maybe. If you're not having a lot of them, again, don't bother. Next, we have the Tree Herder. Hero monster, spellcaster rank 0. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 6+. 9 attacks, nerve, dash 18, 260 points. Crush strength 3, inspiring, pathfinder, radiance of life, scout, strider, surge 8. Upgrade to the Wildfather, you can only have one of these in your army. Losing radiance of life, increasing attacks to 10 and nerve to dash 19, and gaining aura, elite verdant only, and cloak of death for 40 points. Might be worth doing that. It makes it 300 points, which ain't cheap, but it does make it a more offensive tree herder. Tree herders on their own are a really good choice, especially for this army, because a lot of them have got low defense, so they're going to take a lot of hits, so that Radiance of Life is going to be crucial. Again, if you're taking a load of Forest Shamblers, that Surge 8 is going to be really nice. Also, close combat, it is an immense creature with Crush Strength 3, Defense 6. I mean, it gets even worse with Wildfather. You've got an extra pip in nerve, extra 1 in of attack, and you've got Elite in Verdant, which there's a lot for that, I believe. You've got the boss, you've got the Archwraith, you've got the Forest Guard Warden, you've got the Avatar of the Green Lady, you've got the Boss Wraiths, you've got the Hunters of the Wild, and you have got the Forest Shamblers. So you could build an army around the Tree Herder and have in your hero slots Tree Herders. They aren't the cheapest hero, but they do the job quite well. Next we have the Elven King. Speed 6, he's a hero infantry by the way. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 5+, 5 attacks, nerve 13, 15, 100 points. Crush strength 1, elite in melee, individual, inspiring and mighty. Mount on a horse, increasing speed to 9 and changing to hero cavalry for 35 points. Don't know if it can take a saber-tooth hunting cat, because that's the army special upgrade for the normal elves. Might have to be FAQ'd that for 10 points. Can take the shard blade and can only have one of these in your force, increasing melee to 2+ for 15 points. Now I'd take one of those to have the shard blade. Other than that, probably not. Yes, the 5 attacks and crush strength 1 are nice, hitting on 3s, but it's an individual, so, well, no, mighty, so it can be a good speed hump. It's a bit expensive speed hump, but it's a speed hump nonetheless. Next you can take is the Elven Prince. Speed 6, hero infantry by the way. Speed 6, melee 3+, defense 5+, 3 attacks, nerve 11, 13, 55 points. Not 155, just 55 points. Crush strength 1, elite in melee, and individual. Mount on the horse, increasing speed to 9 and changing to hero cavalry for 25 points. And if you could take a saber-tooth hunting cat, that'd be 10 points. It's basically a cheapo version of the Elven King. Not as good. Nah, I'd take an Elven King over this any day. It's twice the points of an Elven Prince, but twice as good. Well, 3 times as good, I'd say. Next we have the Elven Archmage. Hero infantry, spellcaster rank 2. Speed 6, melee 5+, defense 4+. 1 attack, nerve 11, 13, 60 points. Individual. Master of Magic. This unit can reroll all to hit rolls of a natural unmodified 1 with Wind, Bane Chant, Heal, Hex, Lightning Bolt, Mind Fog and Wind Blast. Can mount on the horse, increasing speed to 9 and changing hero cavalry for 25 points. Maybe. Banechant 2 for 20 points. Not a bad upgrade whatsoever. In this army, I think you want 1 or 2 Elven Archmages casting Banechant probably all the while. Heal 4 for 30 points. Again, another one that's a maybe, especially for this army. Hex 3 for 15 points. Yeah, maybe. Lightning Bolt 5 for 35 points. It's not a bad option. Lightning Bolt 5 can cause some problems. Mind Fog 2 for 15 points. It's another good option. Not one I'd go all the time, but it's not a bad option. Wind Blast 6 for 25 points. No. Banechant is your go-to option, because a lot of this stuff in this list does not have much crushing strength or Thundercharge. You want some crushing strength going out there. You potentially could do some piercing as well. You need both hits to score, but you've got that option. Heal 4, yes, it's expensive, but a lot of the units in this army have got low defense, so it's something to consider. Hex, if you're taking a fair few wizards, then maybe. Other than that, no. Lightning Bolt 5. When you get to Lightning Bolt 5, 6, so on and so forth, you are going to be considered a bit of a threat. Mind Fog 2. It's a maybe spell. It's not one you're going to be going, it's going to work all the time. But later on in the game, it's going to be something that might win you the game if you are lucky. And Wind Blast, no. Next we have the Army Standard Bearer. Hero Infantry. Speed 6, melee 4+, defense 4+. 1 attack, nerve 10-12, 60 points. Elite in melee, individual and inspiring. Mount on a horse, increasing speed to 9 and changing to Hero Cavalry for 25 points. It's a cheap way to get inspiring. I don't think much about them, but people seem to like them. Apart from being cheap inspiring, no, just no. Next we have the Dragon Kindred Lord, Titan Hero. Speed 10, melee 3+, range 4+, defense 5+. 10 attacks, nerve 17-19, 315 points. It's not cheap. Crush Strength 3, elite in melee, fly, inspiring and nimble. Dragon's Breath, which is 12-inch range and has got steady aim. I don't know why there's no other dragon sort of stuff in here, but well, shame there's not any other sort of weird, monstrous, mounted sort of thing, but hey ho. I just like the Dragon Titan characters. Stats wise, are pretty decent. Yes, you can. It isn't fearless, which is a problem, but it's going to take a lot of hitting to bring it to that sort of level. Dragon Breath is pretty good, hitting on 4, sorry. Close combat hitting on 3s with 10 attacks, Crush Strike 3. Yeah. Finally, we have the unique units. Starting with the Avatar of the Green Lady. Hero Infantry, Spellcaster rank 3. Speed 10, melee 5+, defense 5+. 1 attack, nerve 13-15, 185 points. Fly, individual, inspiring, regeneration 5+. Balance, at the start of each of your turns, you may choose for this unit to have either Cloak of Death or Radiance of Life, and it's got heal 6. She's a good support hero, but other than that, she's pretty naff. She used to be defense 6 back in 2nd edition, which is a shame she's not defense 6 now. It's a shame she hasn't got more spells either, but that Cloak of Death and Radiance Life is going to be pretty tasty. Thing is, she can fly and she's individual. She can go whizzing about, and that Cloak of Death is going to hurt your opponents if you don't get rid of her. You might think, well, it's just one little person, what's she's going to do? Yeah, them individuals can be an absolute pain. The Ifrit is an individual with Fireball 15. Now you tell me individuals cannot be an absolute pain. And heal 6, that's going to be really tasty. This is one time that I'd say the Avatar of the Green Lady is an absolute must for an army. I think in this army she is really needed. Next we have, oh god, mantic the names, Elric Nislin? Elric Nislin. Okay. Hero Infantry Spellcaster rank 2. Speed 7, melee 2 plus, defense 5 plus. 6 attacks, nerve, dash 14, 160 points. Crush strength 1, elite in melee, individual, inspiring, mighty, pathfinder. It's got Wayfire. This unit's Fireball spell also has the Shattering special. Fireball 8. Yeah, remember what I was saying about individuals? That Fireball 8 is also doing the ranged version of Brutal. 6 attacks, crush strength 1, hitting on 2s in close combat. Oh, and there's only 160 points with a speed of 7. Again, I think this is a case where both unique units for an army. I think I'd always take both of them, to be honest. Use Elric to be an absolute annoyance. Outflanking, yes, you can't get the charge bonuses, but it's going to be a pain. You can, it's got Pathfinder, which is going to help with the terrain penalties somewhat. Mighty, he's got Mighty, so you can't even ignore him when you're charging him. You're going to have to charge into him, and it's going to take at least 2 turns, if not 3, to take him down, because he's fearless. And what's even worse is, okay, so you only need 2s to hit. What if you rolled 1s? He's got elite, so most of the time, I'd say about 85% of the time, he's going to hit, and he's going to be an absolute pain. It's an army that's got a lot of range units. However, I feel that they've missed a trick in not having much piercing. If I was going to be on the rules committee, I would say the Deathroot arrows would give the unit piercing for 1 turn and maybe increase the cost to 10 points or something. Or no, make it 50. A 15-point upgrade, 1 turn piercing, and yeah, that is going to be an impress. No, 10 points. It's 1 use only, and the amount of attacks you get for piercing and the points costs kind of show what they can do. You need to move and shoot with them. A lot of them's got steady aim, which, even if it didn't have the piercing, and even if you didn't have the upgrade, which I've no idea what's the point of his at the minute, they're good for outflanking. Move them around, get some few shots off, and then you've got stuff like your heavy cavalry. You've got the Forest Shamblers, you've got the Dragon King Lord. And that's the thing with this army. All the really heavy stuff mostly is either irregular or have to fill the slots out. The Stormwind Cavalry aren't irregular, granted, but you don't want to just be taking them. You want to be The thing is with this army, I'm going to be saying that a fair few times if you haven't noticed with this. The thing is, and it's really hot, the thing is with this army, you need to get a lot of range stuff, peppering enemies, and you might be thinking there's not that much piercing, which is true. But it's going to be peppering your army, and the amount of shots that's been going off, it is going to weather your opponent's army down every so often, and it is going to be a problem. But I'd say kind of take 50% range and 50% close combat. Maybe you don't agree with that, but I'd say that's where the money is with this army. So that's it for now. Goodbye for now in this heat.